Hello and welcome to Everything's Fine, probably your weekly antidote to all of the bad news and existential dread that hits you when you open your phone and then instantly regret it. And today is a special one because this is our 30th episode, which means we've now been radiating optimism and mild confusion into the world for 6 whole months. 6 months, half a year. That's longer than most of Drew Barrymore's marriages, and significantly longer than Liz Truss held up against the lettuce. And more impressively, you're still listening. So thank you, truly. Either you enjoy us or you've just forgotten how to unsubscribe. Either way, please know we appreciate your commitment. When we started this podcast, our goal was simple: to find the good news hiding under the avalanche of everything else and say, no, the world's not completely on fire. There's at least a cat doing something wholesome. And in the last 6 months, we've covered scientific breakthroughs, medical miracles, environmental recoveries, small acts of kindness, and one story about cats with jobs, which frankly should be the future of the UK labour market. We've also had guests, experts, ghosts, and various moments where we wondered if we were in fact qualified to speak into a microphone. Spoiler, we are not. But podcasting's lawless, so here we are anyway. Today, we're going to look back at some of the stories we told along the way to see what's changed, what's progressed, and what's quietly fallen apart in the background without anyone telling us. Basically, it's like a school reunion, but instead of X's, it's animals and coral reefs and, well, we'll see, won't we? And as always, I'm joined by Shelley, the emotional support glitter that keeps this podcast from turning into Newsnight. And as Stu, our resident skeptic, philosopher, and man most likely to accidentally get us cancelled, is off on his travels again this week, we have Gemma, a breath of good news, fresh air wafted directly into your ear. Hello both, how are you?
Oh, yeah, I want to say hello to Gemma and thank you for stepping in for us. We're just going to see if you can be as weird as Stu tonight.
There's a lot to live up to there, isn't there?
It really is. And don't feel you have to. I'm looking forward to potentially being able to complete a sentence without getting interrupted. Yay, it happened.
It's already a roaring success.
Did you notice you did your whole intro then? And we were so well behaved. We were
I know. Stu, we miss you really. But what have you been up to? Anything good happened?
Well, I spent the weekend with our mutual friends, Mr. and Mrs. Wingrove.
You did?
And it was my first bonfire night in Winchester. And they have this like mad torchlit procession from the high street all the way to this giant bonfire. I mean, it's almost pagan. It was so busy, we got trapped. And at first it was like, wow, this is really fun. This is really atmospheric. But then we all realized we were like trapped with surrounded by people with like flaming torches. So we were then all just like panicking. Like, I can't get out. And it was like, I don't know, it was like the Wicker Man or something. It was really scary.
You realise you were marching on the former Prince Andrew's house.
Yeah.
Anyway, you joined completely the wrong thing.
But yeah, fun had by all.
I'm very happy. I went to a festive food and gift fair at the weekend, and now I have all my Christmas cheese, which makes me very happy.
Don't mention cheese to me.
Why not?
I had a lovely, cheeky little girls' weekend in France, and we may have overbought cheese. And
Is that possible?
Yes, it is. It would seem it really is when you can't bring it home. And you're sat in the car park in Calais, faced with the dilemma of binning the cheese or doing the solids equivalent of chugging the cheese.
Well, I'm hoping you chugged it, but how much and what type?
Well, there was a lovely Cheesemite cheese. I don't know what it was called, but it was orange. It was beautiful. I've never had Cheesemite cheese before. It sounds repulsive, but it was very good. We had a beautiful honey goat's cheese, There was more, around about half the goat's cheese round left. There was no goat's cheese left by the time we got on the train.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What did it though was the smoked cheese. That was a mistake.
Oh yeah, that can repeat for quite a while.
We had actual lunch, which involved quite a lot of cheese, a mere half an hour previously. So yeah, cheese coma.
Yeah.
It's real, dude.
Ladies' cheese drinks.
It's really real.
Yeah, don't get your cholesterol done for at least a month, okay?
Well, shall we begin?
Let's.
All right, settle in, get comfortable, hydrate if you're into that kind of thing. And let's take a cheerful ramble back through 6 months of everything's fine, probably. Because if we've proven anything, it's that things might actually be okay. Or at least they're not as bad as your social media feed makes them look. Now, regular listeners might recall that lamb news is hard to come by, but not, it turns out, impossible. So with great excitement, let's get an update from our lamb correspondent, Shelley.
Thank you. Welcome to the Lamb News Desk.
Wonderful to be back.
I have yet again been on another, what is actually quite a depressing quest to try and find good news about lambs.
Well, it's not really lamb season, is it?
Oh, it's really difficult. Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's not going to be specifically about a lamb. It's going to be about, well, a grown-up lamb.
So
which
it's a sheep then.
I believe they refer to them as sheep. So
okay. So all right, grown-up lamb news it is.
yeah, so poor lambs and sheep, as we kind of get the impression they don't have it easy, which is largely down to them being a source of food and clothing. So they are kind of the ultimate human prey, really. I actually have a really big soft spot for lambs and sheep. So I don't eat lamb. I'm not judgmental for like people who do eat it. I'm not doing like a kind of vegan preach or something. But to me, they are just too adorable. It would be like eating a bunny or a kitten.
Wouldn't that be a bad time to mention the mutton Jamaican curry with potatoes and spinach I had last night?
I mean, I have to.
I mean, it looked like diarrhea, but it was very nice.
I do accept that people eat it more willingly than I would accept that people ate cats or something. But I suppose I've had them as part of my childhood. When I was lucky enough to have a friend who lived on a farm, we would go and help feed the lambs. So we would all carry buckets of milk bottles into the lambing shed, and they're so cute. And sheep are pretty cute as well. They're sort of like angry, aren't they? But they're not. They sound angry. They're like, meh.
Never noticed. I don't know what you've said or what you've done, but I've never noticed them being particularly angry.
Yeah, I'm happy to wear wool because domestic sheep actually, there's a benefit for them to be sheared because they don't shed their own wool. There are like primitive breeds that do, but domestic ones don't. So they do need help in that side of things. But that leads me on to a story. I've had to go a long way back to find a really, really quality sheep story. This is all the way back in 2004, which in some ways...
There hasn't been a good news story about sheep or lambs in 21 years.
I feel a national campaign coming on here. I feel like this says something really.
Maybe I will stop eating them. I didn't realise it was that bad.
Yeah.
Does a news story become an old story?
I mean, I don't know, because to me, 2004 doesn't seem that long ago.
Is that to our generation, to refer to 2004 as anything other than a few years ago is offensive. Educate yourselves.
So back in 2004, there was a sheep in New Zealand who did not agree with the benefits of sheep shearing. His name was Shrek, and he managed to escape the shears for 6 years. So he did this by actually running away when he was about to be sheared at one time. and then spent the next 6 years hiding and living in caves. I had this like image of him living like Tom Hanks in Castaway, and his best friend is like a football called Wilson. So when he was finally found, his fleece was massive. There are actually pictures of him, what he looked like. He kind of looked like a walking armchair. He was huge, and his fleece actually weighed 27 kilograms. So if you want to know what the good part of this story is, because I feel like I've built up the suspense here. So Shrek actually shot to fame immediately when this happened, and he was sheared live on New Zealand's national television. And his fleece was actually auctioned off to raise money for children's medical charities. Shrek met the then Prime Minister of New Zealand, Helen Clark, and became a subject of children's books and made lots of charity appearances. So he actually, from running away and having a long 6 year anti-shearing protest, he became a little celebrity and helped raise money for charity. He then had another live shearing about 2 years later. This time it was on an iceberg just off New Zealand. So I was thinking, am I reading that correctly? But yeah, he was sheared on an iceberg. Shrek did actually live up to the ripe old age of 16, but because this is so long ago, he actually did die in 2011. But that is as amazing and beautiful, I think, as you could possibly get for sheep news.
I mean, with the whole charity bit, I don't want to put Shrek down here, but I think it's important to stress he wasn't going and hiding from being sheared as a charity thing. It wasn't like a sponsored. It was accidental on his part, wasn't it? It wasn't planned. What was it? Have you found
I get the impression that Shrek wasn't really thinking about raising money when he ran away.
Can we say that with 100% certainty, though? Really?
No, probably not, actually.
Okay.
I think he knew
It
what
could have been a charity or mastermind. Who knows?
You're suggesting, Devin, that Shrek was doing all this with charity in mind.
What can I say? I'm trying to channel
The
Steve
sheep
right
equivalent
now,
of
okay?
November. Well, that's a lovely thought. Well, look, if that hasn't warmed your metaphorical cockles on this cold November evening, I'm not sure what will. But let's try this, shall we? We couldn't let our 6-month milestone go by without allowing Shelley to witter on about some cats. And I think she's got some very special wittering ready for us today. Not only our lamb news correspondent, but also our crazy cat lady. Shelley, over to you.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to run from the lamb news desk to the cat news desk.
Was it far?
And thank you for putting my two stories together. Jim did not say that was because he wanted to get my stuff over and done with.
I did say that.
Yeah, but I'm choosing to ignore it. I feel like I'm just headlining. Oh no, hang on. The one who headlines goes on last, don't they?
Yeah, you're the warm-up.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
You're showing the new girl how to do it, Shelley. That's what it is.
Yeah, I will be your compere this evening.
Well, a safe pair of hands.
Yeah. I actually was thinking more about cat welfare from the point of view of kind of declaring myself my own little cat expert. And really, just what actually inspired me to write about cats and cat happiness was because of all the fireworks over the last week. Two of my cats were all right, but one of them was particularly stressed and unhappy. And it was just, he was kind of like stuffed under the bed with this look on his face that he has when he's going to the vets. But then I was looking into what can you do to help cats feel less stressed. And then I decided to develop it actually just into thinking about how you can make the perfect home for your cat. Because the first thing really you need to do is to love them and understand them. I think people see cats as this kind of aloof, difficult, I don't see the point of a cat because they won't love you like a dog will. Which then also makes me wonder, how much love do you need from a pet? Like, who hurt you?
How needy are you exactly?
I know, like, what's going on there? But anyway, sorry. There are a lot of very emotionally stable dog owners out there with lovely dogs, and I do love you too. And I'm probably just a bit jealous because I can't take my cat to the pub. But
You could try.
but I mean, I do know that actually my cats do really love me, and that actually, even though people see them as very low maintenance, they do require a level of maintenance and love. Because if I do leave them for too long, I am quite likely to come home to a cat shit in the hallway, and that is a message.
Protest.
Yeah. Let you know what I've been looking into about my home, and also the advice that you get from pet charities and animal charities and vets. Okay, so creating vertical territories are really good for cats. So some people go all out and will have like cat shelves and cat runways and things, which I think would be amazing. I would love to have that, but my landlord probably has other ideas about how he wants me to maintain his property. So I've done this by having things like perches and cat trees. I've actually got a cushion up on the top shelf over my desk so my cat can sit and judge me while I'm working. They also need lots of cozy resting spots. And they don't always end up going where you think you go. If you buy them a really expensive bed, they might not use that. They like boxes and things, but sometimes they do just like your lap. Does this all sound like, sounds like stable, normal things that you do for your cat so far?
Yeah, I don't think you've gone too insane yet.
Wait,
Where are you going next, Shelley? That's the bit that worries me, as you felt the need to ask that question.
I'm actually not going mad. This is all very practical stuff, okay? Because I'm trying to make this obtainable for anybody. So they prefer predictable meal times.
Yes, mine's practical mealtime is whenever they want food.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's recommended that you have like wide, shallow bowls, because actually, apparently, cats can get whisker fatigue.
Yeah, I only heard about this, I think last year, year before. I've had cats for years. And then Joe read about it. So yeah, we bought them new bowls and they seem much happier.
Also, one thing I do that's not in any of the advice from vets is that I make up a lot of songs about dinner time.
Why do I get the feeling that you probably make up a lot of songs about your cats anyway, Shelley?
Yeah, I mean, my particular favorite one is like the biscuits of the night. So before they go to bed, they have a bowl of night bickies, and then we sing, "These are the biscuits of the night. Oh yeah, the biscuits of the night."
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. Okay, good. So at
Um,
the end of all this, so this isn't so much a good news cat story. This is just Shelley's top tips for cat care.
yeah, I mean, there is a lot more I can say. I could really go on and on about this, but it would only get edited out, I feel. So but maybe, we'll have another episode on catios, suitable house plants for cats. I might even do like cat toy reviews at some point. You never know.
Long-term listeners of this show will know this one because I've been on this story like a seagull on open ships, I suppose, since April. Let's talk about the High Seas Treaty again, shall we? Because apparently we are now a long-running soap opera where the main character is international marine legislation and the plot moves slower than a wounded slug on a wet Tuesday. Anyone joining us late? This is a treaty designed to protect high seas, all the bits of ocean that don't belong to any one country, which unbelievably makes up nearly half of the surface of the planet. Until now, the legal situation was basically, if you can get to it, you can do anything you like to it. And that's not really a management strategy, is it? That is how toddlers behave at birthday parties. But after 20 years of global negotiations, diplomatic traumas, arguments over commas, at least one diplomat threatening to take this outside, the world finally said, maybe we should stop treating half the planet like a skip. And once 60 countries ratified the treaty, as they did in September this year, legal protections for the high seas were activated. And that's huge, massive. It's a full body, yes, it's now ratified by 75 countries. And in just 67 days, it will be law. Oh, whoop-de-doo, I hear you sneer. What will the High Seas Treaty actually do? Because frankly, it all sounds a bit boring and nerdy. Well, yeah, okay, maybe it is. But this is the boring legal paperwork that literally gives the planet a fighting chance. Right now, nearly half of the planet, all of the oceans beyond national borders, basically, it's like the Wild West. No single country owns it, so historically, it's been overfished, it's been strip mined, it's been dumped in, it's basically treated like the world's largest out of sight, out of mind cupboard. The High Seas Treaty flips that on its barnacled head. For the first time ever, the world can legally protect bits of the ocean in the same way we protect national parks on land. So that means no fishing, no drilling, no mining, no accidentally dropping 400 tyres in the sea and saying, whoops. It's like metaphorically putting up a giant do not touch sign on important ecosystems. But that's not all. Right now, companies are lining up to hoover up the deep ocean floor like they've lost their car keys down there. This treaty means there's going to be strict environmental testing, rules, and potentially outright bans. And that's great because we really don't need corporations inventing underground deforestation as a new hobby. And there's more. The deep ocean's full of weird creatures making chemicals that could lead to new antibiotics, medicines, medical tech. Now, previously, if a company found something useful, they patented it and they kept it. Now, countries have to share benefits and research, especially with poorer nations. So in other words, no more big pharma discovers glowing shrimp mucus and then decides to turn it into something and charge thousands of pounds to look at it or use it or anything else. And I haven't even finished talking about the big, huge, massive thing yet. The treaty brings satellite tracking of fishing vehicles, actual penalties for illegal fishing, and transparency requirements. So no more ships mysteriously turning off their GPS and pretending they're on a picnic break in the mid-Atlantic. The big headline in all of this is the 30 by 30 goal. Not sure if you've heard of that, but the aim is to protect 30% of the world's land and sea by 2030. And this treaty makes the ocean half of that actually achievable. Without it, 30 by 30 was basically, it's a nice dream written on a tote bag. So, in a nutshell, this boring legislation means that more marine life survives, coral reefs get a fighting chance, fish populations recover, and somewhere out there, a turtle punches the air in slow motion.
Which it's going to be really easy for a turtle to punch air in slow motion because they won't be in the air, they'll like be in the water, so they can sort of do a slow underwater jump, like yeah.
Imagine how cool they look. My favourite bit is that it's got to annoy Donald Trump, this, and that's just a brilliant secondary benefit. It's got to, because it's cooperative, it's multilateral, it's based on scientific consensus, and it's designed to stop rich nations from extracting resources without accountability. That's the exact opposite of Trump's preferred policy model. Mine it, burn it, build a golf course on top of it, and name it after myself.
Do you think he's got steam coming out of his ear yet? And just like
I hope so. I hope so. This is why, and it's why he's in such a bad mood with the BBC.
He's going to sue all the fish $1 billion.
But look, we must unfortunately now address the national elephant in the room. The UK still hasn't ratified it. We support it, we love it, we've done lovely speeches about it, we've made promotional PowerPoints with tasteful gradients. But have we actually signed it? Nah, just thinking about it. I swear, at this point, even a starfish could ratify faster. Just dab it in some ink, let it flop onto the paper. But we keep coming back to this story because, and I say this with an unusual amount of sincerity for once, this treaty matters. These ecosystems have been absolutely yeeting into disaster since the 1970s, and it's all humanity's fault. So I am going to keep banging on about this until the UK signs the damn thing. Maybe we could swim to Westminster in snorkels and slap someone with a mackerel. What do you think?
Yes.
Because if we can't save the ocean, the literal source of most life, then I'm sorry, but everything is not fine, probably. But we're trying something. Trying's where hope starts. Okay. Good. Someone
I
can
think we
wail
should
on this
definitely.
before I go at him.
I
Baseball
think
bat.
we should definitely slap them with a fish that was killed by pollution.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
a selection of different variety. Yeah, just a different sort of fish.
Yeah.
We'll just take a different fish
Yeah.
and line up to slap someone. That's the Ocean Treaty. It's a fabulous thing. Stu says it's very boring. That's another reason I like going on about it.
Yeah, but he doesn't tend to interrupt that so much, does he? If you do something he's not interested in,
It's true. I can get through the whole story. It's good.
gives you a chance to breathe, doesn't it?
Well, I think it's about time we let Gemma have the floor. So you went looking for an environmental story and just went completely crazy and found hundreds of them. I have no idea what you're going to say now, but I'm looking forward to hearing it.
You might want to temper that kind of enthusiasm, dude. I'm going to start.
I'm going to try and stay awake while you speak.
Okay.
Oh, now
Wow,
there's some
that's harsh.
really good encouragement.
Thanks, Gus.
Okay, so it's somewhere between those two, yeah?
I just, let's just keep the enthusiasm and the kind of whatnot realistic. That's all I ask for. Just
Okay. I'm moderately intrigued to find out what you're going to say.
okay. Nice. I'm going to start with a story that may have been kind of directed my way, because it's a really good one, I think. Australia is producing so much solar power that it's going to start giving it away to citizens during the day, the government announced this week. There are 3 states in Australia who will be receiving at least 3 hours of free solar power a day, even if they don't actually own solar panels, which is kind of exciting. Not really surprising that Australia is up there leading the world capita solar use, but it's good.
They get plenty of sunshine, certainly.
Do indeed.
I want
Giving energy away for free. Can you imagine
Oh.
anything like that happening in the UK?
Hell no.
Jesus Christ.
It's not going to happen, is it? But apparently, yeah, this led to challenges with oversupply, unsurprisingly. But there's initiatives and growth of battery storage, and it's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Which reminds me of a story, a similar kind of thing, about how I think it's Switzerland are putting solar panels between railway tracks.
There you are. We covered that story a
Yeah,
couple of months or so back. Yes.
linking back.
Linking back. Love it.
I love the links.
So Australia are doing impressive things. Switzerland doing great things. At the start of the podcast, we talked about some of the great stuff China was doing.
There's progress being made out there.
There is. Not here, obviously.
Well, no,
but in other countries.
Yeah. It's hopeful.
We'll catch up eventually, right? Maybe.
Mate, we're behind countries you've never heard of on ratifying a treaty to stop people ripping the seabed to pieces. I think we're a little way off of this one.
What can I say? It was my turn to be optimistic. That's all.
No, it's great. And listen, kudos to Australia. I think that's a brilliant thing. There's so much that other countries could learn from that. I need to stop talking down Britain, don't I? Wonderful.
You have some pride in your country.
When I'm given things to be proud of, then I will. But you see, I consider myself a citizen of the world, so I'm happy to take pride in things that humanity do.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
That's my beautiful mind.
My other favorite thing that I've read this week.
Yeah.
is there is a gentleman who has recently retired as a GP and has decided at the ripe old age of 68 that he would start studying or tackling, if you will, a PhD in paleontology. Not only is he doing super well with that, he has also discovered not one, not two, but three new dinosaurs on the Isle of Wight. Just going to show that you are never too old to learn and excel at something new and exciting, which I think is lovely.
Do you think there's some like paleontologists that have been like doing the job for decades and then he just suddenly comes along? I think there's a new dinosaur under there. I'm just gonna dig here and just does it, and it's like, oh.
I've got an image of Ross from Friends having a meltdown. I imagine there's got to be somebody that character was based on out there in the paleontologist world.
You know what dinosaurs he's discovered?
I mean, I have got access to that information. I'm not actually sure that I would like to try to pronounce them.
Yeah, that's going to have at least 5 syllables, that word, isn't it?
There's a lot of, yeah.
Unless, of course, you get the general public to name them, in which they just be called Dino McDino Face or something.
Exactly. Let's go with that. One of them's that. One of them is Ilewhitesaurus.
Ilewhitesaurus, lovely.
Bony Ben.
So this is a lovely callback to when we had Alex on a couple of weeks ago about the power of learning. So it never stops, even late in life.
Stops. Good for the soul.
Wonderful thing. I don't know if either of you ever heard of a guy called Miles Hilton Barber. He's a blind adventurer, but what's interesting with Miles is that he freely admits he'd not done anything particularly remarkable with his life at all until he went blind at the age of 50. And then he started doing all these amazing things. He's climbed mountains and he drove, I'm sure it was him who drove a car around the Top Gear track. And there's a great photo of him. It used to be on his website. I don't know if it still is. But he's at the bottom of the ocean in his deep sea diving gear and with his friend who's in a wheelchair in his frogman's gear, and he's pushing him along the ocean floor.
Well, can I just ask, did he mean to do all of that, or was it kind of like a Mr. Magoo sort of situation where it was like an accident?
You think for the skydive they were like, toilet Miles? Yeah, just go right. Just go right. Oh, Shelley.
Actually, I seem to be channeling Stu tonight, don't I? So we've already decided which bits are going to be cut.
Now, one thing, Gemma, I believe you did go looking for. People might remember that in the early days of the podcast, we had some fun stories about the University of Bath, who were doing all kinds of interesting things, messing around, wasting their grants on getting Roombas play with cats and running exams that finished before they even started and things like that. But amongst it all, they've actually managed to move up a place in the rankings of UK universities. Didn't find anything about the University of Bath, but...
Well, I did find a little bit about the University of Bath.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, a little. I mean, I did go on a detour. But I think maybe somebody at Bath University has listened to the podcast because they seem to generally be upping their game. Couldn't find anything on rhombuses, couldn't find anything regarding exams starting or finishing before they start. However, DNA discovery could help identify mothers at risk of pre-eclampsia, which I think is kind of cool. That is a leap, isn't it? Frankly.
That's really, really good. That's like
good. See what you can do when you put the Roombas away and get onto the proper stuff. That's excellent.
So do you think... Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, do you think that being laughed at on our podcast was like worse than on Ofsted? Like,
I think it was. I mean, I'm not sure that public shaming should generally be encouraged, but clearly the results speak for themselves. That's in this instance.
First, we got the High Seas Treaty ratified, and then we got the University of Bath to just up their game. No one likes being laughed at by people who are blatantly idiots.
people who might have not even made it to University of Bath.
Well, I know I didn't.
Like, I would not have been accepted by them. They would have been like, "Now you're going to have to go through clearing." Sorry.
I was just let the class with the special kids right at the end of the last school year. So.
But also found on a kind of, because I went down the university route, that Nottingham University have come across or are working on with folk from around the globe new gel which restores dental enamel and could revolutionise tooth repair. It all sounds incredibly exciting. It regenerates tooth enamel, opening up new possibilities for effective and long-lasting preventative and restorative dental treatment. Kind of simulates what happens with your teeth when you're going through just getting your newbies, really.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm just, I think of all the pain that could be saved.
Apparently can like help restore cracks or fill cracks and just
Ooh.
all the good stuffs. So watch that space.
Interesting stuff.
Mm.
Good work from Bath and Nottingham universities there. Bath, we will get off your back again. We'll look for somebody else to mock in future. Right, long-term listeners will know that every so often, or frankly every time we fancy it, we talk about Harlequins Rugby Club. And this is the 4th time Harlequins have appeared on the show. It's actually only the first time that the whole show hasn't been dedicated to them. At this point, we're practically the unofficial Harlequins outreach programme. Last time we covered Quins, we were actually at the Stoop, surrounded by fans, atmosphere, and at least one person who had clearly started on the pints before breakfast. But we keep coming back to Quins because they consistently show how sport isn't just sport, it's community, it's culture, it's identity, and occasionally a very muddy metaphor for hope. Last month, Quins did something genuinely lovely. To mark Black History Month, they ran a club-wide celebration built around the theme Standing Firm in Power and Pride. Now, that sounds like a slogan you'd find printed on a gym wall, but in this case, it was all about identity, belonging, giving space to voices and stories that matter. So they worked with local schools, they highlighted the role of Black players in the club's past and present. They created workshops where kids designed shirts based on heritage and cultural roots. Fans got involved, players got involved. Match day was used to make space for stories and voices that don't always get the spotlight. And it wasn't just a bit of corporate box ticking, it was lived, it felt like family. And it's genuinely moving to see a club say, you don't just watch us, you're part of us. It was creative, it was welcoming. To be honest, it was everything I associate with Quins. Once again, they proved the pitch. It's not just a battleground, it's a gathering place. It's about pride, it's about belonging, and it's about joy and all of that coming together and being louder than fear. It's a place where thousands of people who don't know each other will sing the same song, shout the same chants, and collectively forget how to behave in polite society for 80 minutes. It's all kind of beautiful, if a little bit messy. And yes, before anyone from Saracen starts warming up in the comments, yeah, we know your club does community work too. You've got outreach programs, charity partnerships, education, all brilliant stuff. But Quins didn't cheat at maths, did they? Sarries fans, that's just a joke. We love you, we respect you. We just won't let you recommend any accountants, if that's okay.
Do you think Quins do something bad, though, themselves? Or
Shut, Shelley. Remember what Quins did in October is what I want to talk about, because that really matters. Not what they did in a European game a decade or so ago. Because we live in a time where it's very easy to talk about inclusion and it's very easy to get it wrong. But they listened, they collaborated, they celebrated, and they made space for people. And that's sport at its best. And that's why we keep talking about Quins. And if we mention one more time, we must have earned some shirts or something, surely. Mind you, we've all got them, so it's fine. So that's
like, sorry, just speaking of Black history.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, there is a book called The Black Tudors, because I think people don't often, they don't, it's not so much that they don't often realise, it's just that we never get taught about Black history. I don't really know what they're teaching now at schools, and I'm not saying that, well, I don't know what they're teaching in school these days. I mean, I don't, but when you think about your history lessons, you know, actually there were Black people here hundreds of years ago. You know, as soon as people started sailing around the world and we started trading around the world, and this was, you know, pre-slaving times as well, but we did like Black families living here and contributing to society, but we don't get thought about it.
No, I think one of the challenges, if I understand it, is because so much of history has been written by white people, it's been whitewashed. And therefore we just don't hear about it in the same way we don't hear about all these important female people from history who did great things. We hear about the men, don't hear about the women. And it's just because those were the people who wrote history, sadly. So a lot of it's lost now, I think. But it's great that there's people like this. So, Black Tudors, tell us, have you read it, Shelley?
No, I haven't. I only found out about it recently. This is written by a historian called Miranda Kaufman. So it's transformative history. In Tudor times, there were Black people living and working in Britain, and they were free. So that's what the focus is on. So it sounds really good, and I definitely want to read that book.
Thank you for the book recommendation, Shelley. Wonderful. Has anyone got anything else this week?
I like how that's sort of rounding it up like it's some sort of annual meeting.
Any other business?
Meeting.
But then that, unbelievably, is 6 months of Everything's Fine Probably. 30 episodes of good news, bad jokes, and the constant gnawing dread that we may at any moment accidentally become a real podcast. If you've been listening since the start, thank you. We appreciate it. If you've joined recently, welcome. Sorry, this is just what it's like. If you've just stumbled in, you've no idea what's going on, blink twice and someone will bring you a cup of tea and explain the concept of vibe-based journalism. Now, we know how this part usually goes in podcasts, right? Please like, subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends, tattoo your logo on the dog, whatever. Yes, we want you to do all of those things, but we know you. We also know that you're listening while you're driving or cooking or staring blankly into the middle distance thinking about biscuits. So here's the deal. This week, tell one person about the show. Just one. Your friend, your co-worker, your cat, your ghost, your favourite barista who misspells your name in ways that starts to feel emotionally targeted. You could even drop it into conversation like you're in a BBC drama. Have you heard of Everything's Fine Probably? It's a podcast about good news and sometimes lambs, but mostly not. Also, leave us a review. We don't care what it says. You could literally just write, I have listened. That is all. Because the algorithm won't know what to do with that. And frankly, I just like confusing algorithms. So do that. Apologies to anyone who's been spammed by Stu on social media. He's only little. He doesn't understand. And finally, thank you for being here. The world is a lot. But it's better when we notice the bits that are good, silly, hopeful, kind, sharing with other humans. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, with more of it. Until then, relax. Everything's fine.